Greetings everyone, here's Lodrik again, and this is a game War in the Pacific Admirals Edition. Still my play by email match against Jochen. Jochen is the allied player and for me the Empire of Japan. And we this match arrived at now at the beginning of March, so I was thinking maybe we take a short look around the map and talk about all the stuff I normally not talk in depth because it's for most of people boring and you don't must really check it non-stop, but at least you must check it sometimes. So this is a special monthly episode, you can say. With the dojo game I did it every 2 weeks, but there's not so much happening most of time between the turns. So we can check again the intelligence report. I did this already in the end of the last turn, but maybe we check again shortly what is the history total, not the daily turn, but maybe the total turn. So in this last turn, 1st to 2nd March, I lost some airplanes, but let's see more or less the campaign. So 1055 or 54 against 852. So roughly exactly 200 more airplanes lost for Jochen compared to my Air Force. And these numbers are maybe not 100% true, but 95%. So I would normally always accept in like true values, and if there's 5% missing or more or less, my own numbers are always true, and the American numbers can be 5% more up or lower. So, and I talk about this already, the big, really the first three number one losses for the Japanese are zeros, torpedo bombers and dive bombers, and they're all Navy. And you can see here 84, 137 and 161. So this together is already 300 plus here 80 on top. So 300, nearly, you can say maybe 400 Navy bombers, because then I have also here the Betty bombers with 37 and the K1 edition. So I have maybe 500 airplanes lost for Navy and maybe only 300 for Army. And this is not a good balance, I would say. I must really try to focus more to use Army airplanes and less Navy airplanes. Yeah, if it's possible, of course. Carriers only can use Navy airplanes. So, and torpedo bombers are also normally most of time Navy Air Force. So it's hard to sometimes really try to use Army Air Force for Navy duty. That is maybe not always possible. Good. So we have these losses. The skill ratio is still not terrible, but also not good. I would normally, better is to, if I have here maybe 800 to 1,500, that is good. 1,000 to 800 is acceptable, I would think. So not much more for this. I only scroll here down. For Jochen lost, I think, a lot of his heavy bombers and also a lot of his Catalinas. That is nice. And it will still open me maybe the possibility to move my Navy units sometimes undetected around his bases. I cannot come too close, but if I stay 10 or 11 hexes away from a base, then the chance that I get that detection is smaller, let's say this. Good. I can also show you shortly the list of destroyed air wings. This is related all to Kara, losses of Kara and Ruyo. So I have here 3 big fighter wings and 1 normal fighter wing, how you want to call it. So 27 is, I think, the maximum. This is the big wings, and 18 are the smaller wings. This is normally separation. There's also sometimes 9 airplanes, but this is very special. So, and this is already a broken one because I reformed it before. So this is a part of the big air wing of 81. And you can break 81 in 3 times 27. And normally this makes sense in this game. Simply in this, at least in scenario 1, you must make everything big and then break it down to smaller pieces, and then you are more flexible. If you really use all of these air wings is another question, but you have flexibility. But the game asks for a price to get this back, and the price is related to the size of the air wing. So if I want to get this 27 air wing back and I click it, then the game won 135 points. If I want the 18 air wing back, then it's only 90. So related to the numbers of airplanes. But these are only the wing. So there's nothing inside, no pilot and no airplane. This is typical for most of Japanese reinforcements. On paper you get the air wing, but you must always fill it and produce the equipment. So, and you can see 4 fighter wings, 2 torpedo bomber wings, and 1 dive bomber wing. So the dive bomber wing is maybe what I will maybe buy out at the end. I also don't know if I really need this now. I still have so many air wings I can never fill, simply because my production is enough to keep up with the losses I have, but I have simply not the pilots. The pilots are really for me the problem and not the air wings. So yeah. So then you can see what is lost here. This is what I lost at the Air Force, and I must buy it back maybe sooner or later. Pilot replacement pool is my pool is empty. The 100 pilots I got the last turn I already bring back in training. So, and I must really try to maybe lower the losses for Navy units. Army I have so many I could train, but yeah, it is like it is. And this is my reserve pool. I don't know if I really watched this many times, but so I feel many status okay, but many are coming first later. No, not retire. They're all in different pools. Then you have here some maybe like this. These are my wounded pilots, but they all have no return date. I keep them here most of the time. I never really care if they come back or not, but they come back after some time, sooner or later. Or they stay here and stuck forever, I don't know. I really not check this reserve pool so much, because I can see here is the numbers of... These are all pilots coming back. And they coming back or they don't coming back. I think there's no real option to force this or improve this or push this. Yeah, good. List of top pilots, I think we had already. There's not much to see. I don't have really many fighter elite pilots. Simply, there was not so much air battle 1-to-1. Some compared to the dojo game, it was more like everyone avoids a really direct confrontation. Yeah, ship sunk. Let's say this. First we can see what is all lost from Japan from the top. This is the Kaga. You can see sunk at the beginning of February. This is this Ryo was a direct kill, and Kaga simply had too much fire. It was impossible to get it under control. And these are the big point ships I lost. Also these 2 big tankers. Jochen was very lucky at the beginning of January. And 2 of my light cruisers also lost early on. The rest is some APs, but only 2 of them, and all the rest is all cargo. So far, yeah, so the losses of cargo is really the number 1, but both carriers are good, because this is also 48. This is something like a medium carrier. It's still light, but I would say it's a really good carrier. To lose these 2 ships, and together you can see it's 72 plus 84. So it is 120 airplanes. So compared to, I don't know, what was Enterprise sunk with 90 airplanes, so 90 to 120. So it's still in favor for Jochen. I must normally sink at least one more of these heavy carriers to break even. Yeah, we will see. The light cruisers are not a really loss. Tankers are, these are the super big tankers. I only have 4 and I never get more. That was of course a waste. They are good speed and super big capacity and range, but yeah, it is. The destroyers I talk about, these are all first class destroyers for me because they have this 5-inch main gun. I lost in total 4 destroyers and they're all first class destroyers. In one, this is I would call a second class destroyer. They all change to escort later on. At least you can change them to escort. So this I'm not so worried. They don't have really the punching power, fighting power. They don't fight for frontline, and they also lacking normally the range of 4,000. That is not for really big battle stuff. Compared to this one with 6,000. And Ushio is, that is barely enough, but this is, better. I think everyone can count it different, of course, but I like this better destroyers with 5-inch and many more torpedoes. So in total, I also lost 4 submarines, or fleet submarines. All these 3 figure, these are all these medium range submarines, so no real big one. You can see the old around 6,000. Maybe they're all the same class. The type is so complicated to remember. But I think 2 I lost to mines. 1 was killed by a, I don't know more really was killed, but maybe there was it was sinking with flotation damage over time. And just barely last turn I lost 1 of my submarines by a direct hit from a 500-pound bomb near Colombo. Yeah. And these are small cargo ships, this doesn't matter. The patrol ships also doesn't matter. All the small... what really maybe matters, and this was unluckily, was maybe this DMSs. These are all support destroyers. They can all change to escort ships. So this may be hurt. All the small stuff doesn't matter. Yeah. So the big impact is of course Kaga and Ruyo. And to some certain degree also these destroyers I lost. And maybe the submarines. Good. This is all true, because it's my own side. For the Allies, I cannot say if it's all true, but I would say most of this must be true. So Saratoga sunk, but I think it was not Saratoga, it was Enterprise, but they're the same class, if I remember. Repulse, Prince of Wales, is too long ago. West Virginia also sunk, and it's a long time ago, so I would think that's all true information. Boise, Houston, Northampton, and some other small light cruisers. So what is missing here is really the punch against enemy heavy cruisers, but at least I was able to kill some light cruisers. And this is already all smaller stuff. Sunk some bunch of enemy submarines and destroyers. Somehow I was really possible to sink a lot of destroyers over time. What will help me or help my submarines to survive the war a little longer. But 3 battleships is just so. I need normally to kill more cruisers. There are so many more cruisers, and that is maybe important for me. Somehow I was not able to really find many cruiser formations and sink them. But okay. Any ground units destroyed? No. There was 2-3 units maybe getting destroyed in China, but I rebuilt them already. Yeah, reinforcements. I can maybe check aircraft reinforcements. No, not this one. This one. So, unluckily, this is most all empty stuff. And you can see I get Nate, Ki-21. So this are the only 2 pilots or 2 airplanes inside. These are normally for training. You can build them out, so again, only 2 damaged airplanes inside. 2 damaged airplanes inside. Something like this. And it's really not much I can get. So army fighters, some Zeros, Navy bombers. The roofs are okay. They are this float plane fighters. They're purely only good for intercepting enemy long-range Catalina attacks. But if I don't know if you and Jochen still use Catalinas to really use torpedo attacks. At the beginning he did this, but they are very easy to kill. This unit is important. These are my long-range float planes. It's simply like a Catalina, only a big long-range, the Japanese side more or less. But there's not really powerful stuff coming. Not for me. This is the reason why you really must reform all your Navy air wings if possible, simply to have more to work with. And here we are already in May. There's really, this is the first next generation of Zeros, but I will never build them really. I think I will turn this all back to the M2 edition. I don't want to build M3. This is useless. It's only make it complicated. And you can see that even later I get carriers, and they always have this M2, because M3 is only land-based fighter. They cannot operate from carrier. Good. So there's not much coming for me in the air. Ships. Maybe other topic. Maybe we can take out and only look it like this. So I just got one more escort carrier, I think 1 or 2 days ago. Now I will push for, yeah, there's not more really much coming. So you can see Hiryu and Ryu are coming. These are the 2 carriers I can get in 42. They have a capacity of 50 and 31, so 80 again. So if I'm done with this, I'm maybe back to the capacity I had at the beginning of the war. And this all, then we are already in 44 and 45. So the Japanese never really had any construction for carriers in the near future, let's say. Taiyo is of course good, and all of these 61 carriers are nice. Shiano is of course on hold. It makes no sense to build this. All of these carriers are okay. They're only coming late, and I only can try to push so much it's possible. So if I push them, I can get them maybe 1 year earlier, maybe I think roughly 1 year earlier. So not summer 44, maybe summer 43. Escort carriers is everything already on push, so I can get here a little more. So maybe these 2 are in early summer, and this other 2 maybe in early 43. But escort carriers are normally really only fighter, and then making cap. I would not really use them for anything else. Battleships is the same like always. I halted the Yamato and waited the date of both of battleships are similar, and then I will go for normal production again. And I want to operate them together, not single. It's complicated with the ammunition because they have this 46 18-inch guns, shells. You need big ports or special supply ships to rearm this kind of ship. Also, the original setup is, I would say, just so. It is lacking anti-aircraft firepower. I'm not sure if I can see it. No, it's the same. So you need normally the update, one update at least, to get more anti-aircraft. It is hard to sink these battleships, but enough torpedoes or 1,000 pound maybe 1000 pound bombs. I'm not sure if they really hurt the ship so much. We have here 200mm deck armor. I think this is hard to penetrate for 1000 pound. Good. Cruisers is, yeah, forget it. Japanese don't produce cruisers, these are only light cruisers. You have these two types, the 30 and the 41. This is a new standard type of the light cruisers. They are fast, range is okay, firepower is so-so. They are still heavily related to torpedo attack power, and they have multi-use. They also can run for anti-submarine. Not so the great and best light cruisers, but you can see they're only 7,500 tons. So similar to British light cruisers, they don't go for full capacity. They are more cheap to build. Then there's only one of these heavy light cruisers. You can see this is at the maximum 10,000 ton standard light cruiser, what the Americans more produce. More speed, better guns. This is a 15.5 and they are really much better. If you compare this gun with the normal 15, you can see that they have a range of 3000, penetration of 230. And switching back here, so the range much more, double penetration, and damage is also equally often together. So if I have double penetration, I will do also nearly double damage with every shell can hit the target. Good. But I not push this light cruisers, they have no impact. Battleships I will not push, they have no impact. What I push is always the carriers are next coming, or will give me the benefits. It's also, I don't push the Tayo, would be possible, but the Tayo is maybe the best carrier, but it's only one carrier. And it have a capacity of 72. If I can get for the same price more or less 2 of Unryu with 63, it's simply more airplanes I can carry. The same speed. Yeah, they have nearly no protection, but a carrier simply need a air cap for protection. And flak and armor plate will never really let the carrier survive. Or cargo would not sink so easy. What I also always push with the Japanese is every destroyer I can see here is online coming, I always push. You can never have enough destroyers with Japan. You're always losing at least one. I mean, if I lose one destroyer per month, I can barely build it. It's really, one destroyer per month is the maximum I can handle. To keep my losses in a range, I can rebuild them. And the rest is not so important. I would only say I never push for any submarine. Compared to destroyers are simply too expensive. They cost 33 points. I don't know. Don't ask me why a destroyer is only a third of the price compared to a submarine. So submarines are okay, but they will not win the war. Really. And the good time of the submarines are over maybe in 43, so I don't think that they really have a future. Good. So these are the ships are coming. And oops, no, not this. And maybe the army reinforcements. What is coming for the army? Some support stuff. You can see Navy Guard units, port units. Port units are simply like Navy support. Nothing with attack value. Mid of the month I can get a bunch of new Navy Guard units. Yeah. They will always help to prepare some invasion stuff, but yeah, they're not much more. And in 30 days I also must take latest Wake. So Wake I must take to get this coastal battery stuff. Okay. So this is the time limit. Latest in 30 days I must take wake. So I would say if I get this Navy Guard units in 13 days, then I will prepare to storm wake once more. And then you can see a bunch of smaller stuff. But this is already 45. So in 2 months, support stuff, Navy Guard units, and nothing more. Nothing more. Goodie. Anything else here to find? The numbers you saw, or everyone can see many times again. So roughly 11-1 kill ratio on the land. Ships is 18-11. Well, simply Kaga and the two carriers crashed all my points. So if I, yeah. And the rest is okay. Good. I can maybe talk roughly about one topic. Everyone can make mistakes, and I also make one not super critical mistake, but a boring, or a shitty mistake. I normally was focusing to ship from this base. Here I produce oil and resources. You can see here still 500,000 tons of resources. And I also call in a lot of resources, Hokkaido here in the north, in the south. Here's more 1 million tons, and I normally let here run non-stop convoys down. Yeah, and really convoys running non-stop. Resources, loading and unloading. Anyway, I was hoping and I was thinking this is normally enough to feed the Japanese industry. I don't really move much from other locations. You can also get the resources from Shanghai. You can call them to Qingdao. Normally Port Arthur is the number one. Here is also over 1 million tons. In Seoul it's also possible to call them in. I simply not did this, and then I don't realize that my resources in Tokyo are lower and lower and lower, and I'm here at the point that I normally need 178,000 resources. This is what the base try to level, but I have only 10% of this. I just realized this, and then it was too late, because now I'm in shutdown. You can see this, and you don't see this. This is also the game simply don't tell you this. Normally, if I'm the game designer and I would say you have a big issue here, make it this number red, or tell you something on this page. Everyone will click this page, but no, you can see it if you touch this one. Then you can see, oh, production is not more on. Yeah, why? Yeah, because you don't have enough resources. Oh, you can also see it here. You must always touch the failure, and then you can go down. Then you can see here, oops, my light and heavy industry in Tokyo is switched off for 1 turn, and I will not produce supplies. Oh, shitty. Yeah. So this is of course related to my I increased the heavy industry in all of my bases at the beginning of the game. I roughly built I think 1,000 additional heavy industry, because I spent 1 million supplies, and one factory need 1,000, so 1,000 multiplied 1,000 is 1 million, so roughly, maybe it's more like 900. But only shipping out from these 2 ports is not enough. Better really play it safe and also take from Shanghai supplies, and at least from Port Arthur. This is all shallow water. It's nearly impossible for Allied submarines to operate here. So feed your industry. You can throw this in all the supplies in this port. Here's a 10 port. This is super big. You can keep your supply lines in this shallow water from Shanghai. Then it's safe. Good. So this only, remember, if you maybe not push your heavy industry, you will not run in this issue so much, but if you push heavy industry, then you will have this issue. And also, I think more than, let's say, how many in the industry I have here. No, here. I have a maximum production of 16,000, so half of it, because every heavy industry will produce 2 supplies, so I have 8,000 heavy industry. And this is what I would also not go over. If you really push here for more heavy industry, you will get this problem with resources getting only more seriously. So maybe 8,000 is the maximum you can handle. And better try to repair or build a little heavy industry locally in China, Malaya, or wherever you want it. But not all in Japan. But every player is free to do whatever he wants. So much so far for heavy industry. We can also see here roughly the numbers that I can produce 16,000 plus 10,000, so 26,000 supplies per day. Plus, refineries will also produce some supplies. You can also see it here. 16,000 plus 10,000 plus 1,700. So if you add this up, then you will maybe have 28,000 supplies. If you conquer all of Palembang and all the rest, and if you don't something burn down like Surabaya, then I think you can produce 30,000 supplies per day. That is maybe a number you can count on. And I think over 33,000 is impossible, but yeah, depending what you can conquer. If you can conquer maybe a lot of light industry in India, then life is maybe more easy for you. Anything else here to see? This is my vehicles. I push them a little up simply because the Japanese tanks are so easy. Gets more easy to kill than Americans, so I push a little more of this vehicle stuff. Armament you never need to push. I would not invest here anything. This is enough. Engines. This is the status of my engines. So in a long time I don't talk about engines more. I was thinking long time and hard, and then I realized it makes normally really no sense to push the H60 engine. You have at the beginning I had 3 engines for this running, but it's really doesn't matter. If I get this in September or in August or in July, it's there's no benefit really for me, because I only get the bonus of the engines once I have over 500. But pushing this factory, and I have only 3 factories. One factory only can produce maximum 1% per day, so you can only save 1 month per in-game time. So at the end I cannot push this over July. I think earliest engine is July. And then is the question if I really need 500 engines to get a bonus for the H60, because there's really only 2 airplanes related to this engine are matters, and this is the dive bomber, the D4, and the scout airplane, the recon airplane. But I will talk about this later and explain you why I think it's not so much critical. I better use this at the end. What is the other option? You can say, because it's R&D tool, you only can put it in R&D. So then I put it in the 43 one and one in 45. So you can see I need 4 more days. I just did this end of the beginning of the month. I decided to change it. So I have 1 more percentage per day I can get out to push for the 43. And this is a 45 engine. So here I can get I have more time to really benefit out of this. Similar to the 45 coming out in 43. So don't ask, it is like it is. The 45 is coming in 43 and the 43 is coming in 45. Japanese. So this is only R&D stuff. This is still far away. This is normally I'm pushing. You can still see that I I build non-stop. Every factory I increase the output. I never, from the first day to up to now, and I think I will do it maybe up to 15th of March, and then I maybe stop with this. But I wonder, of course, the bonus for the 32, not so important maybe for 32. 33 is really important to push this. I think here I will never really stop producing. 33 engines are really, even for the end game, important. 43 is related also only for 2 airframes. It's the Tojo and the Helen. So there is a possibility to simply skip this engine completely. It is, if you don't want Tojo and you say you don't need Helen, you don't need this engine, then you can, this is a possibility, this is a tactic, you can, then you have 3 factories, you can split for 40, you can give each other factory one more, then you have 332, so 333 and 335. This will give you the benefit of reaching the 500 with this other 3 engines much faster. This is scenario 1 again. Scenario 2 will have other starting position, so scenario 2 is simply much easier for Japan. So if you're new to the game, or if you are maybe never played Japan before and the allied player have experience, I would suggest better play scenario 2. It gives you more factories, more supplies, more oil, everything, nothing critical, but it's let you make more mistakes without hurting you immediately. Like, I make a mistake with my resources and now I'm burning 10-20,000 supplies lose. I think roughly I would say I lose 20,000 supplies because I'm missing the resources. 20,000 supplies is it's not the end of the world, but 20,000 supplies is for Japan already nearly 1 day production. So, engines, 32, 318, okay, coming up. 33 is still slow. That is heavily related because there are so many airframes using 33 engines, I produce more engines every day, but I also build more airframes consuming H33, so I cannot really build up the pool much. It's the beginning of the game. Now I can build it up, but yeah. 43 is running now smoothly. Simply every engine I produce here is going directly to the pool because there's nothing under construction so far using the 34. So end of the month I will be already, I think end of the month I can catch the 500. The 35 is half on the way, still need more time. So, a lot of engines, and if you don't really like this kind of stuff and A&D and all this, why I use this and why you need it, if you don't like this, I must be honest, I think then you don't better play Japan, because you must understand that you must have a tactic and a strategy, and you cannot change the strategy easily. If you don't start with the strategy and the thinking why you want to do what you do, play America, not Japan. Good. Or maybe I skip the air and let's go first for the production. This is the actual production, so I have still the zeros, 110. I also produce some Kates. I want to have a pool of 40 airplanes. You can use a lot of airplanes in short time at the Navy. So dive bombers, I have enough, 77, so I stop the production. And to make sure here you can see what the air engines is airframe using. So the Zero needs 35. The Kate needs 35, okay. The Val needs 33, okay. Jack also needs 33. These are 2 important airplanes I'm producing in high numbers, consuming the engine of 33, so it's hard to push this engine. Nell also use 33, but I really don't produce it because this is the old design. Soon I will have the M3. So if I have the M3, then I must switch on again the production. Betty uses 32. 32 is not so busy now, so I keep it running under production. I also want to have maybe 50 betties is enough. I don't need much more. H6 needs 33, so this is also under production because sometimes you're losing these airplanes and and this is a 4 engine, so I need 4 engines for 1 airframe. Don't forget this. Nell and Betty's need 2 engines per airframe. I also produce some Key 30s. These are the best light bombers, I would say, the Japanese have, and they consuming H5 engines. This is leftover stuff. No one uses more. But I have 100 engines, so I won't consume this 100 engines, then it's fine. This is also why I not will repair this more. I will make here the repair off, and then it's okay. In 5-6 months, there's no engine left, and then I don't need it more. Oscars, I also keep 110. Is also H35, so this you can see the H35 is torpedo bombers and army fighters, navy fighters, they all need this, so this engine is really important now. And the rest is normally I also keep the Topsy. This is also H5. This is a transport airplane because I lost so many transport airplanes in this game. I was thinking, okay, I share this H5 engine with the N, so 50-50 more or less I'm producing these airplanes. I not really need them. This is only to wait for the next upcoming airframe is much better for this duty, but I get the engines for free and the airframes I can produce them. Before better I have old outdated airframes than no airframe. So here is this status of my R&D. You can still see that the roof are coming now much faster because I'm now in March. I think now I will have every second day maybe a hit on the missing factories. The M3 is a little more far away, so maybe not so quickly. But I will go directly to the A6M8. I was first thinking maybe I go to another airplane, and because there's also the possibility to go for the A6M5 or B or C, but the improvements are also small, and there's one big difference between the 5 edition and the 8 edition. If I touch this one here, you can see here is if I touch this, you can see H35. This page also H35. All of them are based on the H35, but not the A6M8. This is based on the H33. Yeah, of course, the H33 I need also for a lot of other airplanes, but this I cannot change. So, and at the end I choose this. This is the airframe is first ready originally in August 45. So I have to push this airframe a lot. But if I have here 8 factories, and if I get later the 500% or the 500 engine bonus, then I have 8% multiplied twice, so 2 is 16% per day. So I hope I can get this airframe ready in somewhere in 43. So at least 1 year I need to use my old M2 airframe for the 0 before I can switch to the A6M8. And only to compare this directly here, because it's maybe, if I talk about all the time this airframe, this is a standard 0. It is okay. The best is at the long range up to 11 with drop tanks. The speed is with 330, okay. Now we have 20mm cannons, okay. The light machine guns have no impact. But we have no protection and we have only 22 hit points. Okay. The only other one I would say is also fine is maybe this one. More speed, more hit points, still no protection. No improvement for the armament, so maneuver values and speed are always, if you increase the speed you will always decrease the maneuver value, so it's okay. But again, no better firepower, more hit points but no armor. So I would say, okay, here is the same speed, also more hit points, but with armor plate, and I get here heavy machine guns, not more light machine guns. The 20mm cannons, are the same, but I get heavy machine guns, and they can hurt. I don't say they are easy kill, but this is the same stuff what the Americans always using. So what is here only dropping is the speed, the range, and of course this is a really late game airframe. But you can also use this airframe with for fighter bomber roll. 250 kilogram bombs this is 500 kilo bomb load. I mean, it's not armor piercing, but everything what is not with armor deck will have a lot of damage if I can hit. Yeah, but of course, yeah. And yeah, this is real what I want. And yes, of course, this is the SAM, and the SAM is a complete new design. And this is, of course, a much better engine or airframe. But simply, you cannot push this one. You cannot. You must wait that you really get your factories done with this. It is much more complicated. Good. So only before I was really thinking if I can go for the C. Because the C is, in my point of view, also armor, firepower is important, is the best maybe. There's no better firepower. And I don't really need the bomb loads, I can sacrifice this all. The problem is really only that with this one is, I think the maneuver values are not so fine and the speed is slow. And speed is really important later. So here I losing speed, I losing maneuver value, I don't have the bomb load. The only thing what I get is a little more firepower. And this is also, yes, maybe 1 year earlier or 10 months earlier, but 10 months, I don't know if it's really so much difference. If I can push more or less like, I can push a lot. If I can make 16% per day, you can calculate how much earlier I can get the airframe. Good. So, long time for talking about this airframe stuff. And you can see here also I push here a lot for the 0 line because I want this A6 M8 and there's nothing more I can do here. I only do this to get the factory on 30, because only if you have a factory on 30 you get the bonus. So you can see here's one factory working. 21 days already is this factory working with 1% per day. So I'm missing the 500 engine bonus and I have only one factory. But I will get here soon two more factories running. And I think the roofs are all coming now shortly. End of the month I would have here 5 factories running. And then I can make 5% per day. Also I was thinking, okay, at the beginning I make this N1. No, at the beginning I make N2. But you could also go with N1. Why I don't go N1 at the beginning is the H44. Yeah, but I don't want to produce this. I only want to make A&D. Simply because if the date is earlier, you have a higher chance to make a hit on this factory. If you have all 30 full, or you come close to this date, you simply change it from N1 to N2. So I don't want to produce, because I don't have this H44 engine, I don't want it. It's only more complicated. I want the N2 with a much more easy 32 engine. So this is the engine 32 I need. Here's the Myrt. This needs a... This is a H45. H45. And this is the Judy. And the Judy is the only one using the H60 engine. But, and now it comes, not for a long time, because if we go back here to Japan, we can see here, this is the Judy one. Okay, much better airplane compared to the Val. Complicated to maintenance, but double bomb load, more range, much faster, everything is fine. The Judy 2 is the same. Everything is better. Still the same engine. But you can go also for a Judy 3. And then it's changing to H33. This engine is much easier to maintenance. It is only slower. But maintenance is also an important factor. And if you go for the Judy 4, then you get also an easy maintenance airframe with acceptable speed. They didn't have any armor ever. And then you can drop an 800 kilogram bomb in a dive mode. And again, this game have more or less a calculation like bigger bombs have more chance to hit the target. So I will maybe go for this and skip all other airframes. I'm not so sure if I maybe go for Judy 3, because this is already more easy to maintenance. 500 kilo is also powerful, and maybe first go after 3 to 4. But it's simply time. If you want try to push this from 844 to the present, or if you say I can, these are only 4 months difference, I think this make no sense, and I get here 800 kilogram bomb. It's simply much more punching power. Good. So, and because this let me know, that's why I was thinking why I need this engine. I really normally not need this engine. I need this engine only if I want to produce this airframe. But I get this airframe without a booster first in April 43. So the time between I get the Judy 1 without pushing this airframe and pushing for the Judy 4, I don't know how much time there is between. Because I have here 1, 2, 3, 4 factories. And it's the same. I get also the bonus later on. So it's like not 4%, it's 8% per day. Good. The rest I better make a little faster. You can see here what I produce and what I don't want to produce. And not talk about all the time only about airframes. I change a little setups. I kick something out, put something inside. But more or less this is my setting. Good. Now I talk so many about industry, but this is important for Japan. So this is Russia. We don't must really talk about here the Chinas, because I only walk here back. There's nothing I can say. I only can also say that here in Xi'an, I took Xi'an after some maneuver, let's say this, not a real fight about Xi'an. Jochen simply walked back, and then we had this double fight. Now this Chinese army is broken, but Jochen have at least here 1 or 2 more Chinese armies blocking, and I must choose if I go the direct way in trying to block Sichuan from this mountain area, or if I maybe go around and trying to take these cities directly. Center is no real change. I can show you I have here roughly 5,000 attack value. The other new army is here with roughly 3,000 attack value, and 1,000 attack value is more or less forming here up because other units are falling back. They are more walking back. So I will have here 1,000, 5,000 and 3,000. So roughly 9,000 attack value. And I will see if I I will maybe try to give pressure. If I can reach this hex, I have the possibility to maybe threaten all of these bases, and this maybe will let Jochen move around. If I can take this space and take also this highway connection here, I have also the possibility to maybe cross the river here, behind the line. If this makes sense is the other question. But here's 112 or 121 resources, and I need still more resources. I'm lacking resources somehow. I will not fight here. I only move my units around. I still have too many units to repair, let's say this. And I'm running a little low on supplies in China. So I try to more or less conquer this maneuver and give the pressure on Jochen simply by bringing my units in a position where he must react. I miss maybe the opportunity to attack Rangoon, but I also want this more or less. So Jochen reinforce Rangoon and push everything in Rangoon, and this forced him to send a lot of supplies and everything to Rangoon. So if I'm able to maybe cut the supply line to Rangoon, then Jochen will dry out much faster than if he don't send so much units to Rangoon. If Jochen can supply his units, of course he can push on Bangkok. But if he cannot keep it open, he must bring in his supplies to Rangoon. Everything else is slow and not so efficient. And I take Port Blair, so I can normally see him coming. So cargo ships are also not the fastest, let's say this. And submarines will always, with submarines you can at least always kick out 1, 2, 3 cargo ships if you are in position. Here is, I sent my 25th Army, will go for Palembang. The 15th Army I reform and will send to direction Rabaul, and then helping in Rabaul. The 15th Army is only around 500-600 attack value, maybe 800 attack value, so it's the smallest army I will send to help in the South Pacific. The 25th Army is normally ordered for Palembang, and the 14th and 16th Army will transfer from Manila to Singapore, refit there and reform, and at the same time I must clean up here Mindanao. Here is just now some elements of the 14th Army are working here. I hope this can be done at the mid of the month. I would normally have everything in Singapore, and then I must choose what I do. I have then 25th, 14th and 16th Army together, maybe 5,000 attack value, not completely but nearly 5,000 attack value. I can make the attack on Singapore still, not Singapore, but I can land more or less here in the south and walk up, make it very safe. I can make some crazy direct attack. I can try to land here behind the line, or I forget this all and maybe land in Perth, because Perth is normally often not strong defended, and give me a lot of points. Once I take Perth, it's for Australia also not easy to retake it. Once I must go up to this position. Once you can take this base, here's the desert, and you cannot take the railway more. This is an endless story. So you can normally only make an amphibious hold for the Allies. But I don't know if it really makes sense to take Perth. It only makes sense to take Perth if I was able maybe also to take Nomaya. If I have Nomaya and Perth, this will strangle maybe Australia. Good. I only to keep it like this. So also maybe some operation, because maybe many people were thinking why I never operate against Perth. Simply I had no fuel before, and I cannot find them. And Yeah, I had other things to do. But now I was able to bring in a cruiser formation here. The other one is out of fuel nearly, so I must maybe turn back. I was here waiting. I cannot stay here for too long time, but I can stay maybe 1 week. And if I find something, then it's nice. And if not, because long time I was not more here, so maybe Jochen have no backup forces here, or maybe easy picking convoys. Let's hope. We will see. Maybe I can wait up to 10th of March and then I must return. Here I was talking about this is a light cargo ship with sink, and I maybe bring in only one Navy Guard unit, so I must maybe repeat this action because I have still here one more can fight, but I forgot it. I need Tarakan, and then this is maybe much more easy to secure. Then of course I must still pick up this, at least Kendari and Makassar is also important. These two bases. Then here's also Celebris, maybe peaceful. But okay, here's nothing more to say. My poor ships, now my carrier is in position, so we will see if Jochen attack me here in the future. Philippines is only cleanup operations, don't expect it too much. Not really many sub activity between Rabaul and Truk. Before there was a time there was many subs around Truk, but now maybe Jochen calls them back, I don't know. But I sometimes got here some subs, maybe 2-3 subs are still operating here, I'm not so sure. This is a single ship, I still don't know where they are. So my rescue mission is on the way. I try to bring back my first class destroyer, but I can only make 2 hexes per day, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And I must hope that the destroyer can fix some damage on the way, so that I get maybe to 3 or 4 hexes per day. I make this special task force. This is a really only special task force with low value, but some this is a light Navy Guard unit, and I make this attempt to simply go directly between Fiji and Nomaya, bring this unit and take Norfolk Island. Only to have here a base if the destroyer can survive, and then I maybe can make some emergency repair. And if I get maybe at least some of the system damage down, I cannot really expect too much, but I need the system damage really under 50. Maybe I can fix the engine damage or a little flotation damage. So if I had here 2 to 2, I mean I need a cruise speed of I think 8. If I can get a cruise speed of 8, I can make 2 hexes per pulse, so 4 per day. Everything else is simply too slow. I won't save the destroyer, but I can also not keep here my whole formation for so long time busy. Yeah. I bring here my submarines now in position of Wellington, because I think Auckland there is nothing more. And if Wellington has nothing, then I will go to Dunedin. So, but I will still first bring here some to Wellington, because I saw the convoys somewhere. Maybe they're already Wellington, then he won't go out again, I'm not so sure. Because I will now leave the combat area, so I expect that Jochen then will go out once I clear the field. Yeah, at least I hope this. Luganville itself is slowly building up, but it's really only slowly because I don't have here so many. Japanese engineers, they are not so good, and I don't have really the heavy equipment. So everything is slow. My carrier is here in position, and we will now have maybe next turn a little more damage on these ships. I think this time I had only 1 destroyer hit, or destroyer DMS or something else, or some support destroyer. So I was normally hoping that my submarines can damage some ship here on the way, and then I have more easy targets. But now Jochen is in the port, or in the base, and he will disband the task force, and I must make port strike. And I don't know how many days I can stay here before enemy fighters showing up. So because of course, I mean, Jochen will know I am here with a carrier now. I see here now only auxiliary, so maybe Catalinas. I don't know if Jochen have already fighters in Nadi or Suva, so maybe he can fly in 1 or 2 turns. Maybe I have 2, maximum 3 turns. After this I must continue, or he build up defense forces. Again, a carrier must always strike normally to be efficient with surprise. I cannot sink an island, but the island can sink me with aircraft. And this is not what I want. Rabaul is also building up, so I have airfield level 7, then I maybe make now a port of level 5 to have a better rearm level for my battleships or battle cruisers. And then once I have, I think, a port of 5, I switch to get an airfield of level 8, and 8 is enough for me. Tulagi is also building up slowly. I want here a port of 4, an airfield of 4 is enough. I only want this to rearm cruisers and all kind of other ships. Operate all twin engine air bombers I can have. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah, here's one of my destroyers have a collision damage. Okay, I try to sneak it by single mode here out. And I don't remember more. I know. I think in this task force I have also other. No. This is one destroyer. I don't remember more if there was another destroyer. Yeah, here is Hiryu. So because now I can link them up. Now they are together, so I will make air cover directly. This is my battleship formation. I think that I also bring them all together only to make sure that Jochen will not try something crazy. Because I have my carriers here, but I don't have really heavy protection. All my heavy protection is now on the heavy cruisers in the Congo. And I'm not sure if one battle cruiser is enough, so I will bring in my other battle cruisers and then I form one heavy unit. Escort my destroyer to Norfolk Island, and then I will see more if I can fix the damage or not. I give this maybe 1 week chance, and after 1 week I must simply continue. One destroyer is at the end nothing compared to winning the war. Good. This is maybe first enough. If you have any questions, let me know. Well, stay safe. See you again. Take care. Bye bye.